Hey, yo, what is good, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're gonna make this video a little bit shorter than normal, kind of go show you guys the news that you guys mainly need to know. But with that being said, man, the stock market crashed a little bit with the tariffs that Trump has announced. And not only that, I mean, he kind of announced a little bit better tariffs at first, like 10%, but then later on, we got some horrible news, and he showed us. I mean, he kind of just brought out a little list and brought out the retaliation tariffs. So basically, in short, China's gonna get almost like 50% tariffed. We're gonna give him 34%, but we already have 20%. I'm gonna show you guys this list a little bit later, but since he brought out this list, man, that's when the stock market crashed and it's just doing horrible. But with that being said, I got some good news, but some news that might work out, might not work out. But with that being said, let's get straight to the tariffs and show you guys the picture that you guys need to kind of see. With that being said, so kind of look at the list. So China and Europe was probably the worst, but China is going to be overall 54% because we already have the 20% tariffs on them. So keep that in mind. And here goes the list overall of the countries that will get affected. With that being said, this did bring down the stock market, but I do got some kind of decent news for some short-term traders and some long terms. With that being said, Canada said that they're willing to remove tariffs if US does. And a lot of other companies, or not companies, sorry, a lot of other countries kind of said the same thing, and or we're probably going to see a little bit better with the tariffs. With that being said, think about this. You keep this in consideration. This is just Canada, but other countries too. But let's look at the charts, right? So with all of those tariffs, we kind of showed a little bit of a bottom. And I'm not saying a bottom overall, but a bottom with the worst case scenario and with the tariffs already in place, okay? But keep in mind, before I tell you guys the good news, let's talk about some bad news first, right? If we do come out with some bad news, right, some people are coming back, people are going to retaliate in a bad way, the stock market will indeed dip and the investors will not like that. But with that being said, like I said before, we're in the worst case scenario where we already kind of hit a bottom for all of those tariffs. And even if we get like bad tariffs, we might just come back to the lows of 542.2. So keep that 542.2 on your mind, because it's a low chance of us crossing this unless we get like all out trade war, you know? But that's not really what people want, because other countries are not going to benefit out of a trade war neither. So with that being said, from here on out, just look at this as a temporary bottom, okay? Just because the only thing that we can really get right now is good news. It can even be tiny good news, right? To say kind of like maybe like a country that we don't even really trade with takes out tariffs, that could bring up the stock market at least 1%. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like we're at a pretty decent low level. We're like $50 lower, or about $60-$70 lower than the highs. So with that being said, right now, with this being the bottom, any little good news that we get is gonna bring up the market a lot, and it's going to spike it up, especially for short-term traders. That's why right now I recommend looking at news and just having news up on your wire at all times, because if we come out with some good news, SPY and other tech stocks will move up. And base it on the stocks overall, because maybe it might be like a chip tariff might get removed from another country, and you'll see NVIDIA, AMD, and other stocks up in AI and overall SPY. And maybe even, things like McDonald's or something might come up too. But with that being said, some levels to look at with the SPY. So today, I'm not even gonna lie, I played a quick play and I seen that it was bullish. And I seen before, when we had another dip like this, the next day we had a big green candle. Maybe not an overall bullish day, but with that being said, if you guys want to play some call options, I recommend looking at 549.6, 557.8, and the 570 level to play yourself some calls. But make sure that it breaks. And once it breaks, make sure you get maybe like $1 in the money, and then just make sure that there's no bearish momentum, and pay attention to your MACD and the VWAP, depending on where VWAP is. Always there's like a VWAP rule. Like if it's trading above VWAP, never buy a put. If it's trading below, never buy a call, unless you just see overall bullish momentum. To the downside, look at 544.46. And look at the lows, okay? 542.2. If we break the lows, we're definitely going to hit that 540 level, but 540 is going to be your next level to look at, because if we break the lows and fully break it to the 540, it's going to show constant bullish or bearish trend, and you can play another put option overall. But honestly, I'm not saying that's an overall bottom. I'm not saying bank all of your money on calls or anything like that, but the chances of us going lower is pretty relatively low unless we go out all out trade war. With that being said, chance of us going higher is like very high. I'm saying 80%, right? I don't even think we can hit the bottom anymore. Maybe not break the bottom unless we get more bad news. But keep your eyes on the news. I will be making daily videos still, just like this, market outlook, giving you guys levels on certain stocks and stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about the SPY because this is what I mainly trade, and this is my opinion. Comment down below if you guys disagree. Comment down below if I missed something. But honestly, man, I think we might be going up from here. I'm not saying constant bullish trend, but we might see what we've been seeing in the recent days, how we kind of went up and down, just a highly volatile market, right? Don't expect a bullish market, don't expect a bearish market. But as we've seen, we hit a bottom and we came up, hit a bigger bottom. And then we came up, hit a bigger bottom. So, I mean, we're making higher lows. With that being said, we can do the same thing. We can go up, maybe even to that 557 level, maybe a little bit higher to that 560, test that 560 and make a bigger, higher low. But I'm saying from here on out, we might be able to make a little higher high or higher low, at least minimum, and or even make a higher high. So just keep that on your mind and on your radar for the charts. Just comment down below, honestly, your opinion. This is me just kind of just yapping away. But with that being said, there's a little bit of plays also with the SPY. I'm going to be coming out tomorrow with a better video, a longer video, kind of just explain news and everything like that. Today is kind of just see how the market moves, look at those levels, play the lows, play the highs, play the supports and resistance, and play price action. With that being said, tell me what plays you guys made today. I do recommend getting into GLD if you guys need some plays that are kind of easy, TLT, and other stocks like that. But with that being said, smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and check out some other videos. Peace out.